Hey, this is Brian Foley, your favorite Galveston criminal defense attorney. We're talking about the top five defenses here, not really ranked in any particular order, but how to get out of a DWI, how to defend a DWI. Uh, First, challenge the legality of the traffic stop. I have to say, if you're looking for a complete dismissal on a DWI, this is the best way to do it. Reasonable suspicion is the standard that the police have to have in order to effectuate a traffic stop on somebody. It means to pull your vehicle over. If you are speeding, if you have failed to maintain a single lane, if you had made a wide right turn, or if the officer thinks your car is disabled and they need to exercise their community caretaking function, all of these have special rules that the officers are supposed to abide by. I'll tell you, among these challenges to the traffic stop, failure to maintain a single lane by far gets us the best results. If the reason you were pulled over was failure to maintain a single lane, you might have a great way to get your case dismissed if we take a look. Way number two, or method number two, you might say, questioning the accuracy of breath tests. If you had a breath test in your case, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in a DWI with a breath test. The calibration of the instrument that they call the Intoxilizer 9000, that can be off. The temperature range for the instrument to be functioning properly is very small. It's a small window. They have to have it just right. Uh, if you had any kind of alcohol in your mouth, if you had used mouthwash recently, that can affect a breath test. Medical conditions, diabetes, can mimic the odor of alcohol, where the officer may not have even had probable cause to request this breath test. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong. But another way to challenge a DWI, top five ways, number two, is questioning the accuracy of breath tests. Number three, contesting field sobriety testing procedures. Okay, environmental conditions, the first thing we're going to talk about. Uh, these field sobriety tests, they are standardized tests that have had certain national studies done to them. They were established in the 1970s and really haven't changed much since then. They've not been updated very much either. And so some of the things that can go wrong on a field sobriety test are that you might have really bad weather out there. If it's windy and affects your balance, you may look like you're having balance issues when you don't. If they have uneven ground, if there are rocks, pebbles, and you don't have shoes, maybe you only have high heels and you have to take those shoes off to be successful at these tests, but then you've got a bunch of rocks and pebbles on the roadside, that can affect the walk and turn test. Maybe you have other medical conditions, inner ear problems, which affect your balance. You may have a neurological condition like neuropathy in one of your legs that can affect things. People who are over a certain weight and over a certain age cannot do these field sobriety tests, or they're not supposed to be doing them. A lot of different things. So, contesting field sobriety, testing procedures, and how the officer explained things to you, that's another key defense for a DWI. Another defense is the rising blood alcohol defense. This is where it basically relates to the state having to prove that your alcohol concentration was above a certain limit, zero point zero 0.08, at the time of driving. And so they may have evidence later on, after a crash or after you've gone home and they found you at your home, asked you to come outside. If you came outside and started talking to them, maybe they have a blood test from 2-3 hours after the driving took place. Well, a lot can happen in between them. If you haven't given the officer a statement as to when the drinking occurred, we've had people go home after a wreck, have a few drinks because they were shook up, and then all of a sudden their blood alcohol is over the limit when they were not over the limit at the time of the driving. So the rising blood alcohol can be affected by this. You may have been under the limit, especially if you drank a whole lot right before you left a certain place and your blood alcohol is right at 0.08, maybe an hour later. That means you're likely to have increased in alcohol concentration during that time period. If you got pulled over fairly quickly after having a large amount of alcohol, it may not be that you were above 0.08 at the time of driving. And then the last defense here is negotiation with the state. There are different things we can do as a lawyer to help our clients. We can reduce the punishment. We can get sometimes a DWI third down to a misdemeanor, sometimes a DWI second down to a first, and sometimes on a DWI, even getting that dismissed. So a reduction in punishment is definitely possible and something you can use to defend yourself on a DWI. There are also these things called pretrial diversion programs, and it's a type of probation that ends with a full dismissal that can be expunged off your record. That's the beauty of the pretrial diversion program. It's different from deferred adjudication, which is another way to avoid a conviction for DWI. But in my opinion, a deferred adjudication, the way they're set up, uh, it's still something that police can see, even if it's dismissed pursuant to deferred. It could be non-disclosed, but if it's a first-time DWI, so could if you were to just take a conviction, pay a fine, something like that. Even that can be non-disclosed. So they have this deferred adjudication offer that you can get in Texas, but most of the time it's not the right fit for our client. If it's a pretrial diversion, you're looking at expunction. That's a great option for folks who have some bad facts on their side, made a bad decision, but still want an opportunity to keep their record clean. Thanks for watching. As always, this is all for educational purposes. If you got a real issue, if you've been arrested, give us a call. We can talk with you about that. Don't just watch one of these videos and then go to court. That's a bad idea. Uh, Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Thanks.